Community College doing some testing here of this new device. Excuse me, it's called the Pivo. And what it does is it syncs with your smartphone and it allows you to do some live casting. The other thing that's kind of cool is when you're recording a vlog or something like that, it will actually follow you as you move. And presumably, I have a pretty wide angle here, so I think it's not going to do the face tracking, but the idea is that it'll keep me on the screen so that if I'm moving around, this could be particularly useful if I'm out somewhere doing a live video. It will actually track what I'm doing on my face and then allow me to stay in the frame. Let me get a drink of water here real quick. And the other thing that Pivo does, it does quite a bit with like panoramas and 360 photos, but it also connects with live casting. And I was particularly interested in this because in the future, I'm really going to be involved in doing more live casting. Partially maybe through my YouTube channel, but more predominantly, excuse me, through my new role here at Lake Tahoe Community College called Faculty Chair of Teaching and Learning. And I'm currently in my office, and as I was saying earlier here on the live cast, we had a brownout today, so we actually lost power. And we were kind of concerned because the board meeting's starting here in a little bit, so I'll have to cut this short and go to our board meeting. We were worried it would be a board meeting in the dark or a board meeting using the old paper packets, and it was bringing us back a little bit to those years where things were maybe simpler and less efficient. And it's kind of a reminder just how much we depend on technology. And I'm actually checking out my YouTube channel here to see if the live stream is coming through or not. And one of the things I wanted to do, and just give me a second to check my Facebook to see if it's actually working. It looks like, yeah, it looks like we have a live stream going here. One of the things I'm trying to do is figure out, using Pivo, what are the best ways to live stream. So my two main social media platforms right now are Facebook and YouTube. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I think to get video streaming on or live casting on LinkedIn, you have to have maybe a more premium account. But one of the things I'll be doing starting this summer and certainly into the fall is taking advantage of more live casting. And again, live casting gives you the opportunity, if you're watching out there, to participate. And so I'm actually seeing that this is working here on my YouTube as I'm doing this. Still have to check out, or sorry, my Facebook, it's working. I still have to check out my YouTube, because one of the things I want to be able to do is, for those of you watching for teaching and learning tips, which will be part of my new role, you can actually log in and participate in the live cast that will be going on. So these will take place starting in fall. I'm hoping actually to do some live casting of our convocation activities. That starts in mid-September, around September 11th through the rest of the week. And you know, some of that's already done by the college. So the President DeFranco's State of the College address is already live cast on Facebook. So I'm not going to duplicate anything that the college does, because they do a bigger version of it, have control of it, and so forth. What I'll be doing is, through my social media, taking advantage of the fact that you can watch these. Also, presumably, they're going to be archived. And this is literally the first time I've done this. The last time I did some live casting was a couple years back at the IAPA conference, which is the theme park conference in Orlando, Florida. And I did it using the Wi-Fi in the conference hall, and I just used my iPhone and did it, I think, straight on Facebook, or tried it also on YouTube. And it was pretty spotty. So the Wi-Fi was going in and out. So one of the things I want to do in the next couple weeks is just do some of these tests and see what kind of technology is available, see whether or not this is going to be useful. I'm particularly interested in, if you're watching at home, that you can participate live. And so one of the things I'll be looking at is exactly what interaction you can provide, and then how I can monitor that while I'm also running one of these seminars. So in addition to Convocation Week, my hopes to do some live casting there, we'll be doing seminars. Some of these will happen in my office, and the office isn't ready to go. And actually, if you look around, the walls have been done up really nicely. This would be an example of, let's try doing this, if it's going to move the camera. It's not moving the camera. Okay. I'm assuming it's still working here, but this is kind of old school on my tripod. So we've got some nicely painted walls up here, and they removed some shelves. And then back around this way, I've really got to figure out how to use this so I can actually take advantage of what it's supposed to be doing, there is a plug in the wall, and that will have a projection screen. And the idea behind the projection screen is that you will be able to come in here. We can do some video work for your own classes. You know, I do quite a bit of video work with Final Cut Pro and for my YouTube channel. I think currently have over like 1,000 videos, and so I consider like video a really key part of just my professional life, whether I'm doing musical stuff or my research stuff on themed and immersive spaces, or certainly now moving into this pedagogical role in terms of connecting with all of you out there, the wider audience, and trying to do some virtual opportunities for connecting on teaching and learning issues. So that screen will be over there, and then I'll have a desk here, kind of a standing desk. I actually do have a stand-up desk right here, but what'll happen in this space is we'll have a okay, I'm just looking. It said livecast was interrupted again. This is all an experiment the first time. I think we're back live here. What'll happen here is we'll have a conference table and some chairs, and so if you're coming in, we can do some workshopping right here in my office in B101A here at Lake Tahoe Community College. And we can also then do some video work too. So if you're interested in recording videos for your class and getting some tips on that and some of the technology like we're using today, we'll also take advantage of that. Easy to do in this office. Obviously, we can't do that for a large group. As far as larger groups, the date I have set up, or the dates I have set up, it'll be Tuesdays from 12 to 1, which is our college hour, provided that there isn't a student activity that same day. If there is, then I won't be conflicting with that, because we want everyone to attend the student activity. So I'll be coordinating with Laura and Julie in student life and equity to really get a sense of what are the best days to do these on. But when applicable, from 12 to 1 on Tuesdays in E100, we'll have some of these seminars. And if you're on campus, if you want to attend on campus, you'll come to E100 obviously physically and you know, participate as you would normally. And then what I'll do is I'll have this set up as a live cast, and we'll have some active participation. So the thing I need to figure out, like right now I'm looking at it, and we're getting some pretty spotty video. And it could be because we had the brownout today, and it could be the fact that the internet went down and the Wi-Fi maybe is still spotty, and my camera is not telling me whether or not we're having issues. But I'm looking just here on my Facebook page, and it looks like we're having some internet issues. But one of the other things I want to do with this is when we have our event on Tuesdays or Fridays, whenever some of those happen, we'll do the live cast, so you can participate live virtually from wherever you are. If you're teaching for ISP, Incarcerated Students Program, if you're teaching for DE for us, you can take part in these seminars and give your tips and feedback and have an active role to play. And then what will happen is they'll get archived, and I have to again figure out where the archive will be. Most likely it's on my YouTube. And then you'll be able to, if you couldn't attend it live in person physically or virtually through the DE or the distance format, you can then watch it later whenever you want to and just get a sense of what we talked about, and hopefully it's useful and so forth. And then as we go through over time, we'll archive some of these workshops, and then we can get ideas of new topics and so forth. I don't have my topic list in front of me right now. I was trying to pull that up, but I'm having some Wi-Fi issues. But a slew of different issues we'll be looking at, everything from student behavior in DE classes to professional development for faculty, ideas about, you know, if you have a particular passion or an interest that you engage in terms of your work outside the classroom and maybe incorporating it in your classroom, like if you're a visual artist or a creative writer. We'll have some conversations about how to think about your professional disciplinary life as an academic outside your classroom, and maybe how to bridge the gap between your teaching, your pedagogy, and the professional work that you might do, or even hobbies and interests and how you bring those into a class. And it could be really anything that is a topic that could connect with students. So we will develop sort of collaboratively over time the list of topics. I have some ideas initially that we'll run with, and we'll see how these go. And again, I'm rolling this out over the next few weeks to do some live casting as tests, because I'm not entirely sure about how the PIVO is going to work. There's a lot of different options there. And then I'm also trying to figure out my social media platforms. So if you have any ideas right now, you can certainly comment on, if you do live casting, what works for you in terms of your favorite technology platforms. YouTube and Facebook, it seems to me, are the pretty popular ones. But when I was setting this app up today, they had a slew, like a list of 30 different live casting opportunities out there, and it all connects through what's called Realstream, which from what I can see so far is free. It allows me to add channels, and then I can hit start, go live on my phone, and then it simultaneously streams to all those various channels. And I'm assuming that there aren't any bandwidth issues or anything like that, but I'd be curious to know what's happening behind the scenes to make that happen, because obviously I want these streams to be effective and I want them to not have a lot of glitches. If you've ever done like Skype interviews or something like that, or a Skype conversation with someone, it can get pretty distracting over time when you have your audio and video dropping out. It just makes the viewing experience less than ideal. And I actually see that my screen is locked up currently, so I don't know what's happening with that. What I'm going to do at the end of all this is go back over my YouTube and my Facebook and just get a sense of whether or not this was working. Again, if there are Wi-Fi issues, I need to address that and think about that, because if we're going to make these effective as far as a live casting opportunity for you to all participate in these seminars, it will be incumbent on me to make sure that the technology is working. So we'll have to see how this goes. I've had this happen in the past. As I said, I tried to live stream from IAAPA, which is the big amusement industry conference in Orlando, Florida. And it was pretty cool because when you go to the expo hall, there's like over 1,000 different booths and vendors, rides, merchandising, social media technology, everything for like theme parks and related spaces. And so I thought, this is pretty cool. I'm actually using my iPhone and I'm live casting, and people were watching live and maybe making some comments. But then over time it started to drop out, and I just felt like it wasn't an effective platform to engage the audience and to keep people interested and so forth. So I'm looking at myself, I'm seeing a freeze screen here on Facebook. So if you are watching, maybe you can hear some audio or not. But what I'm going to do is sign off right now. I'm going to go to the board meeting here, LTCC board meeting tonight, big board agenda. We haven't had a board meeting. We're dark in July, so we've got a lot to cover tonight, and it's always exciting to go to board meetings and see some of the new things that are happening here at the college. A lot of things, moving pieces this summer. Maybe I will even do a live cast as a president's report for the LTCC Academic Senate, because I do quite a few videos for my YouTube, and we'll see if that might be an opportunity for people to tune in at a certain time, a regular time, and maybe make that an option too. And if it's archived, you'll have an opportunity to watch it later if you can't make the scheduled time and date and so forth. So I think that's it. Signing off here, first live cast attempt using Pivo. I will be back certainly in the future with more opportunities to engage with some of you out there in terms of teaching and learning and other topics here at Lake Tahoe Community College.